we can look for adoption of the minutes from the previous meeting of December 16th, 2020. Seems so long ago now. Do we have a motion to adopt? Oh, sorry, Wasif, and seconded by Mark. Thank you. All those in favor? Great. And the minutes from the December 16th meeting have been adopted. Thank you, everyone. The committee is bound by the Planning Act to assess each application based upon its ability to meet 4 tests, but the application is minor in nature, is desirable for the appropriate development or use of the lands, and finally is in keeping with the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw. The process for tonight's meeting will be conducted in the following manner. The applicant and or agent will be called upon and at their option may provide a brief description of the minor variance application they have applied for. Committee members may ask questions of the applicant and or agent, after which anyone with a direct interest in the application will be given the opportunity to speak either for or against the application. Once a motion is put forward by a committee member, there will be no further input from the applicant or anyone having interest in the application. After a decision is made, notice will be sent out and there will be a 20-day appeal period. Anyone having interest in the application may appeal to the local planning appeals tribunal within 20 days of the decision of the committee. After 20 days, the decision will become final and binding. If a building permit or other approvals are required, they may be filed during the appeal period. However, no building permits will be issued until the appeal period is over and the decision becomes final and binding. A respectful decorum during this evening's proceedings is expected of all present at all times. And we'll begin with introductions of members of committee this evening. We have Mark Pavlik, Cecil Ramnath, Wasif Ahmed, Lori Roberts. I am the chair of the committee, Greg Whitfield. And with us from town staff, we have Caitlin Grout, Secretary Treasurer and Senior Planner with the Town of Ajax.
Mr. Chair, just before we jump in, if I could just interrupt for one moment. We seem to be having some technical difficulty on the video streaming side. So if I could just pause for a brief recess for one moment, if that's okay?
Absolutely.
I'll be back shortly. Thank you. Mr. Chair, looks like we're back on track.
Great, thank you. Okay. All right, the first application for us this evening is application A33/20 for 94 Chapman Drive. The applicant is requesting to permit a maximum driveway width of 5.4 meters, whereas the zoning bylaw permits a maximum driveway width of 5 meters. Caitlin, was notice served and were any responses received?
Notice was served. We did receive one email response in support of the application, which was provided to the committee.
Great, thank you. And is the applicant with us this evening?
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Chair.
Great, thank you. Okay, and for the applicant, members of staff have written a report recommending approval of the application, subject to 2 conditions within the staff report provided to us. One, that the subject variance apply only to the property municipally known as 94 Chapman Drive, as shown on the site plan submitted with this application, and found as figure 2 within the report, or this decision shall become null and void. And 2, that the owner or applicant obtain all necessary building permits from the town's building service section, or this decision shall become null and void. For the applicant, have you received a copy of this staff report?
Maybe on mute.
We did it. We got a copy of the applicant. Yep.
Great, thank you. And do you have any questions or comments on the conditions recommended by staff?
No, so far no. Is everything absolutely right?
Great, thank you. So if you don't mind introducing yourself and if you have anything to add to the application, now is your chance.
Can I turn on a video or just on a voice is enough?
Voice is fine. If you'd like to turn on video, you're welcome to.
All right. So my name is Umar. So I'm a husband of Memuna Nisar, who just processed application for just wide over a driveway. So minor variant. Yep. No, so far we have no question. We are okay with it.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions from members of committee for the applicant? I'm Cecil?
Yes, I have a question for staff actually. In looking at a drawing, it appears as though the widening of the driveway does not butt up against the sidewalk. And I was wondering whether staff could provide some clarity on that.
Sure, through the chair. Cecil, you're talking about the, I guess the driveway connecting to the sidewalk?
Yes.
Yes, so I guess it's just the way that the site plan drawing shows, but I can confirm that the driveway does match up with the sidewalk and then continues in the boulevard.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's just the way that the red line showing the width was drawn that it makes it appear that the driveway doesn't continue all the way to the sidewalk.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for the applicant or staff? Lori?
Through you, Chair, to the applicant, I'm just curious, has this work already been done or is it going to be done after if you get approval?
No, we didn't do anything and no work is done. So we are just waiting for approval and then we will start to comply as per.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions for the applicant or staff? No, seeing none. In that case, if we can look for a motion on the application, please. Cecil?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I move to approve minor variance application A3320 for 94 Chapman Drive, subject to all conditions as from staff. As it is minor in nature, it is desirable for the appropriate development and use of the land, and it's in keeping with the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaws. I move to approve.
Great, thank you. And is there a seconder on the motion, please? Wasif, thank you. All those in favor? Great, all in favor. Your application is approved, subject to the 2 conditions in the staff report and the 20-day appeal period. Okay, moving on to the next application for this evening. Application A34/20 for 73 Cluett Drive. The applicant is requesting to permit a minimum setback from the rear lot line of 6.9 meters, where the zoning bylaw requires a minimum rear lot line setback of 7.5 meters. Caitlin, was notice served and were any responses received?
Notice was served. We did not receive any written correspondence.
Great, thank you. And is the applicant with us this evening?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Great, thank you. And for the applicant, staff have written a report recommending approval of the application, subject to 3 conditions within the staff report. 1, that the subject variance apply only to the variance or only to the property municipally known as 73 Cluett Drive and is shown as the site on the site plan submitted with this application and found as figure 2 within the report, or the decision shall become null and void. 2, that the owner or applicant maintain the historical drainage on the property, or the decision shall become null and void. And 3, that the owner or applicant obtain all necessary building permits from the town's building services section, or this decision shall become null and void. For the applicant, have you received a copy of this report?
Yes, we have.
Great. And do you have any questions or comments on the conditions recommended by staff?
No, not at this time.
Great, thank you. If you don't mind introducing yourself and if you have anything to add to the application, now's your opportunity.
My name is Yusuf Mohammed and my wife Bibi Mohammed.
And no questions.
No questions.
Great. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Are there any questions for the applicant or staff from members of committee?
No, none.
No, I'm seeing none from members of committee. All right, in that case, if we can look for a motion on the application, please. Mark?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve application A34/20 for 73 Cluett Drive seeing that the application is minor in nature and meets the other tests.
Great, thank you. And is there a seconder on the motion, please? I think I saw Lori first there. Thank you. And all those in favor of the application? Great, thank you. Application A34/20 is approved, subject to the 3 conditions found within the staff report and the 20-day appeal period. Okay, and that concludes the application portion of this evening's meeting. Is there any other business from members of committee or staff that they'd like to discuss? I am seeing none. Then if we can look for a motion to adjourn, please. Cecil? And a seconder? Lori, thank you. And all those in favor? Great, thank you. And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming out, everyone.